Welcome back to Beach Chair Chats. My name is Brian Kaiser. I'm here on a beautiful Thursday in New England, and I got some wonderful guests on the other coast, the West Coast, as they would say, the best coast, the host of the Between Us Mom podcast, Katie and Hallie. How are you doing today, Katie and Hallie?
We're so good. We're so glad to be here with you. This is so fun.
It is a lot of fun doing this endeavor, and it's of course it's the beach share concept. So I love to be at the beach. I guess we have to get it out there. Who has the better beaches? I'm going to say the East Coast.
Yeah,
Bias.
Ooh.
probably actually. I mean,
Oh,
it depends on where on the West Coast, but I do th I'm gonna say a different country.
well, you could go that, I guess. What country would it be? Or if you had to pick and choose the better beaches, of what country?
I mean, I'm gonna say somewhere along the south of France. They
I
have good
would.
beaches.
Well, San Sebastian maybe or a Positano.
Ooh, a Positano in Italy. I was
Mm,
Okay.
thinking like Anguilla.
okay.
Okay. Okay. Now we're all having beachy vibes here, and here we are stuck in an office, but
Yeah.
we can only dream. I did interview someone in France, but I don't think he talked about those beaches in France yesterday. So talk a little
Mm.
bit about you two. You're both moms, but it's not your whole story. You've been in media. You've been doing this for a long time. I read your bios. I'm like, as I told Hallie, you're probably the most famous people that I've interviewed to this point, which is awesome. So I got celebs who've won Emmys and done all these great things. So talk a little bit about your story as far as what excites you about just being in media, being doing this work, but also being moms.
Yeah.
Ooh, Katie, you hit it.
Okay. Well, first of all, I know Hallie already said that we're so grateful to be here, and I just want to echo that sentiment. We're so excited to chat with you, and we love what you're doing. And in terms of like media and moms, our podcast kind of came about because we love telling other people's stories, and that is so much of who we are.
Hmm.
But also, now we are both moms of two girls, and we were like, how can we kind of marry these two things together? How can we find some like synergy between these two giant parts of our lives and hopefully build like a mom community where we all share and talk about the highs and the lows and the hard stuff and the easy stuff and the plain just gross weird stuff. And so
There's
It's
lots
a
of
lot
weird
of that.
stuffs.
A
it's a
lot
lot of
of
that.
poop. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that. A lot of snot, a lot of talk about how sick we always are. You know, it's like one kid is sick, one kid is puking, one kid is throwing food on the floor. Today, my child threw spit food out of her mouth that she had begun to chew, and then it just went all over the floor.
Well, what did
And
you feed her? I mean, what was
waff
it?
waffles.
Spit
Like
out waffles?
who spits out waffles? I don't
How
know.
dare she? How dare
I
she?
know. I know.
Texture. It's a texture
And
thing at best.
that'll test your parenting, but I was like, let's clean it up together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, so that's kind of, the story of us. And yes, we've both had, like you said, really nice careers, and
Hmm.
we have some accolades, and I've interviewed a lot of celebrities in my day, but I really love being a mom now, and I like raising my girls, and I love doing this with Hallie, and I like talking to other podcasters like yourself. And I think right now the world is in a weird place where it's so good to just like connect with
True.
people
You
and
you could
talk to
say that,
people.
yes.
And that's what I love about podcasts. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you want to
Well,
add
Ditto,
to that? Oh.
ditto to all of that. Yeah. And I think the beauty of media and like what we've learned in our long career is you really have the ability to connect with people in a special way. And motherhood comes with a lot of challenges, and being a woman can feel very isolating.
hmm
And the more connected we are to each other and the more honest we are about our experiences, the less alone we feel. And we just think that's a beautiful thing to do. So why not use our talents and our history as entertainment journalists to bring women together and, have a little fun along the way. So it's been really fun doing it. And
well,
she's like my best friend, so it's equally as great.
well, it makes it didn't mean you have chemistry between the two of you, right? So you have this connections, you can bond, you can bounce off each other, which is great. I wish I had a co-host because I could riff all day on this thing, and I need someone to like bring me back. But also, now you've interviewed celebrities. You are technically the now celebrity to your children, right? Would
For
you
now.
classify yourself as out of especially out of your spouses, right? Your husbands, who is the
Yeah.
most important person
Mm.
in this dynamic? I mean, it's you can be straight with this and say it's totally you guys.
I want to say it's me, but I feel like they're both daddy's girls. Like my girls
Hmm.
are like obsessed with my husband. They
Hmm.
literally run to the door screaming, da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, I only carried you in my body for 9 months and like sacrificed my belly button's never gonna look the same. But sure, yeah, dada,
Dad's a
that's
plaything,
fine.
yes.
Yeah.
Dads are playthings. My background's in developmental psych, and so studying always kids. And I have a 20-year-old myself, and he's growing
Wow.
up, he's no longer two. He was born premature. He was, 8 weeks early, but now he's 20 and typical 20-year-old. And, but,
It's
yeah,
Is he
fathers,
in college?
he's
Is he
in
in college?
college. He's in college now, just trying to figure it out. They live in a different time. So, I'm a firm believer, about outdoor play. I'm not going to go on a tangent about media with kids and don't give them devices. Play with them, get them outside, get them to the beach, learn all these things. Sensory overload for kids so they can learn about themselves and navigate and find what works for them, take chances, take risks. So, what are your stances as two moms? How do you feel about that? Do you ever have feelings about putting kids having technology too soon or let it
Yeah.
play?
That's a great question. And I think Hallie and I both are pretty firm on like, we don't do iPads. We don't
Good.
own iPads. We don't believe in them. We are going on a family vacation, the four of us, for the first time this summer. And my husband and I are like, do we get some sort of iPad and we just call it like a plain iPad and it's like only for trips, or do we not even go there?
Hmm.
So, yeah, I don't think we're going to do it. I've already started, getting all the different arts and crafts that are plane friendly and magnet tiles and
Hmm.
whatever else seems, something that would keep them occupied for 4.5 hours. But yeah, we're like you, like Hallie always says, and I love this so much that she wants to like live as if we are 70 in the 70s
In
Perfect.
the
and
90s is my new thing.
90s,
90s.
90s.
Like
Okay.
I want to recreate my childhood for my
Yes.
kids.
And we didn't have devices. Like, I think
No.
on
No.
Saturday morning, we maybe had like Looney Tunes. Am I
The
aging myself
cartoons.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had like
No.
Saturday morning
Yeah.
cartoons, Kids Incorporated on Saturdays. And
Yeah.
I,
Oh, yeah.
I very much, am of that mindset. I want to keep them as screen free as possible. If for anything else, a
Yeah.
selfish reason, I don't want the tantrums afterwards.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, the fallout when you take away devices is like a withdrawal. It's like, give me that thing, and you see him like explode into like this. What is happening to this person? They turned this like
Yeah.
crazy monster that took away his device. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But I
But
do
also,
think
no
like
shame to the parents who do
that's
it.
yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. Like parenthood is so hard. Do
it
we
is.
swear on this podcast? Are
You
we
can
allowed to
swear,
say
you
we're
can drop any
great?
F-bomb, shit, fuck, whatever. Go for it,
Awesome.
because you're
Okay.
parents.
So here's what I'm gonna say. Parenthood is fucking hard, and
Hmm.
sometimes you just need to throw the TV on. And like that's okay. I think we all have to just release judgment on each
Yes.
Yeah.
other. I have the good fortune of being able to stay home and raise my kids the majority of the time. So I don't want to be lazy
Hmm.
and turn the TV on but sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm like, I need a little quiet, and so I'm going to put on Bluey,
Hmm.
okay? And
Bluey,
that's
all right.
Totally.
yeah. So whatever you're doing is fine, but in Katie and I try to steer clear of the screens. There's just so much research coming out about it and the effects on mental health, and if I can avoid it, I'm going to.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
mini
sometimes you have,
screens,
yeah,
Yeah.
especially.
sometimes you have no choice, right? Like you said,
Yeah.
the TV on, no big deal. I grew up with, like you said, Looney Tunes, the Saturday morning
Yeah.
cartoons.
Hmm.
You'd watch them, see these things, and then they're off, right? There's nothing
Yeah.
else on for the rest of the day, and you go play and do whatever it is you do. And even as a
Right.
kid, you grow up when you have that sense of adventure. You don't have that kind of overstimulated development that these kids are going to start having. Like I said, I work in education. I see sort of the fallout when they get to where I'm at, when they've gone through that development, they've grew up with the online world, they're very plugged in, they're very anxious, they can't solve the problems. It's just becoming alarming, actually. So I give you
Yeah.
props for making sure you stick to the old 70s, 90s, we'll put it there,
Yeah.
um, generation of play, of parenting, but it is hard. And there's nothing easy about it being a parent today because there is a lot of pressure for parents to do this. I think,
Yeah.
Katie, I know you have young ones, right? They're under two. Are they very little?
My
Yeah.
oldest is turning 3 now in
Okay.
June, and then my youngest is 20 months. There's a 13 and a half
All right. So
month age
this
gap between them.
and Hallie, how about you? You have
I have a almost 4-year old and an almost 2-year old. And they, fun fact, my husband and I are very, very punctual in our conception.
mm,
They had the exact same due date.
damn, that is like
Yeah, two
line
years
that up.
apart. I know, unintentional, but here we are. And
There you go.
so, yeah, 4 and 2 almost.
So that makes birthdays interesting. That'll be interesting down
Yeah,
the road when they get a little bit earlier, like later. It's like I want my birthday.
I
When they
know.
become teenagers or angsty, it's like I don't want to share my birthday with. It's just
I
yeah.
know.
Good
I
luck.
dread that. I dread that. But for now, they're sharing birthdays for sure. Birthday parties.
Yeah, but it is hard, being a parent, but also changes the dynamic. Like you said, you're celebrating being mothers now. You have your career too, but do you see, do you find yourself settling down a little bit or seeing like, the busyness of the work you did prior to being parents or being a mom? Has things changed a little bit for you too?
Totally.
I think any woman or mom who who has children, and if they say like nothing's changed, I don't believe them. I think it changes everything. It changes who you are inherently. We talk about this. It's like the most universal thing on the planet is like how much motherhood changes you in terms of like priorities and where you're putting your time and your energy. But also, yeah, trying to maintain a sense of identity for yourself and things that fill your cup as well.
Hmm.
Because I think we're all better moms when we feel, that we also have a little energy in the battery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and you talked a little bit too about being like isolated and kind of that lonely feeling, right? Because when especially if you have your peers and your friends, right? And then all of a sudden now you become moms and maybe they're not.
Right.
Do you have peers? Like we're going to talk nicely about anybody. So, but do you see this shift sometime? Like now that you're a mom and maybe that lifestyle before, do you feel like a big shift there too?
Yeah,
Oh,
what's funny is Katie
totally.
and I were later to the game. We really prioritized our career for a very long time. Our 30s were very much dedicated to
Mm-hmm.
making our lifelong dreams happen at work. And a byproduct of that was just pushing parenthood down the road. And we both had some fertility issues, and we kind of were very parallel journeys. But I find myself apologizing to a lot of my friends who were parents before me
Mm-hmm.
because I just didn't know what I now know. And that is you need your tribe of women to surround you in motherhood and lift you up and see you and, be there for you. And because it does totally change your life and
Mm-hmm.
everything looks different. And like Katie said, there's a shift in priorities um, in just like even your whole world changes and it expands and it's beautiful, but it breaks you and it's a whole thing. And so I don't know if that answers your question, but our lives do look very different. But it's funny, like our friendships, I look back and I'm like, I want to apologize to all the women who had children before me and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't show up like I wish I could have now,
I
knowing what I know.
I also want to show up for the friends who don't yet have children but hope to have kids one day,
Mm-hmm.
and our friendships, have changed or evolved mostly because yeah, they don't understand a lot of it, and it's just so hard to find the time, right? It's so hard, and you do dinners earlier and you have bedtimes earlier and you have nap schedules to maintain, and on the weekends sometimes you just want to chill with your husband or you hang out with people in the same stage of life as you because they understand and they're not going to judge you when you are having a conversation that is broken up into fragments because you keep getting interrupted by your children. So it's
That
like,
is
oh,
so
yeah,
real.
it's like, that's so interesting. Hang on. Don't put that in your mouth. And
Yeah,
Yes.
oh, wait. Oh, really? What's going on with work? Oh, can
yeah,
you hang on a second? Sorry, Kaya, please
Mm-hmm.
don't do that or don't take your shoes off or don't eat your feet,
Stop
whatever
running
it
with
is.
scissors. Yeah. Put
Yeah.
that knife down. Yeah.
And
Not
so
really, but
instead of, people getting frustrated, they understand it, and it also feels like you're in the chaos together, which I think, in some ways strengthens those friendships between people in the similar life season as you.
Well, it's definitely, being a parent, your head's on a swivel, especially when they're very young, especially safety, right? There's always these protections. We talk about being a kid in the 90s or whatever, generation
Yeah.
you grew up, right? I talk about when I was a kid. I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in Nebraska. I grew up on a farm.
oh,
Stereotypes, throw them out there, go for it. And I remember riding my bicycle on a two-lane highway with no helmets, no no protections
sure.
to a
Yeah.
7 miles to my friend's house, right? Now we protect kids, right? There's always so many things because you want to make sure they're safe. You want to make sure they're, don't put this in their mouth, don't run with scissors, don't, we get that. Do you feel that there's this pressure to like protect and just, or let them just kind of figure it out and say, okay, you fell down, you did this, what was the consequence? We didn't get too hurt, but we're good. Do you feel like that, like in between pressure as a mom?
Not honestly, my husband and I are kind of the mindset, let them learn
Mhm.
and be there when they do. So it's a lot of, okay, if I'm going to tell you, do you feel safe standing on the coffee table? This is, we don't do this, but
Yes, of course.
I'm just thinking of a random example. It's like, do you feel safe on the playground, whatever? And if they say yes, and we're like, okay, and like let them do. If they tell us they feel safe, but when they fall, it's we are always going to be there. So it's like
Hmm.
instilling that in them and not being helicopter parents and trying to make every decision for
Yeah,
them,
don't do
like
that.
letting
Yeah.
them have some autonomy,
Hmm.
even though they're little, like just starting that now, but always being there for the
Yeah.
fall, after the fall.
Because
That's,
because the minute you start putting parameters like don't do this, right?
hmm
Kids are trying to figure this out no matter what age it is. They're in an environment, like you said, you carried your child for 9 months, right? The only environment that they knew was you.
yeah,
And so they're trying to get this sensory overload and understanding what's in front of them. So, like I said, being present, your husband being present when they make these decisions versus they fail, but you don't actually talk to them about it. They don't understand what's happening. So I think that's a
yeah.
great approach to let them figure it out.
It's just to add to that, though, like you said, you were riding your bike 7 miles to your friend's house. And
Mhm.
I don't know that we live in a world where parents would feel safe necessarily like doing that, especially if you live in a big city anymore. And
Right.
that is devastating. That breaks my heart because I
Yeah.
remember, yeah, walking to my friend's house, even just like up the street, half a mile, whatever it was, or walking home
Hmm.
from the bus. And now I don't know if it's like we have more information or there's more fear or more anxiety or just the way the world is operating these days. But it makes me sad that my kids no, won't necessarily grow up in a world where I feel comfortable as a mom letting them just
Yeah.
walk a mile to go pick up milk at the grocery store, which was such a normal thing to do.
Yeah.
Especially for my parents. My dad tells that story all the time. Like, I used to walk to the movie theater, and I'm
Of
like,
course.
what? It's just, yeah,
Well, we create a world of stranger danger, right? There's all these parameters. I just read a book called The Anxious Generation. I'm not going to cite it like it's like cutting edge research. It's just the idea of the online world and social platforms for kids and cutting it back. There's so much more you can talk about. But there was a quote like we have so many rules and regulations to protect kids on the external, but nothing in the virtual online world. There's no parameters, there's no protections and provisions. So your kids can find out, they can get online early and just explore and see all the things that you like, how you see in this, and there's no protection. So being a parent today in this generation, you're kind of constantly like even more on a swivel because externally you can see all the things, but internal and virtually you can't. And so the more you can keep them off those things, the better off I'll be.
yeah.
I'll virtually high five you from here, as they grow up and be outstanding children or adults when they get older because they've been developed properly. So props to both of you.
No, thanks.
But did
And
it?
to you have a son in college. You did
Yeah.
it.
I did it. Boys are different. They grow up. It is true. men develop slower. I will admit it. It's on this podcast. You can quote it, cut it out of here. It's like, listen, the guy did say that men do develop. We do.
Yeah.
Our prefrontal's a little behind the eight
Science.
ball.
Yeah. It's just
This
Biology.
is
science.
why
Yeah.
women always outlive men, and should be president too. But hey,
Amen.
Hey,
A
she
hey.
had
fucking
she
man.
had my vote. She had
Yeah.
my vote.
Mine
But
too.
it's
Yeah.
but there is a thing about that too. But let me ask you this question: You've been parents now for a little bit of time. What do you miss about pre-parenting life?
Mm.
You're like, oh yeah,
There's a long list actually. No.
I'm sure.
Um, I miss gosh, sleeping in.
Yeah, sleep's done. Get
Yeah,
over it.
waking up and being like, what are we gonna do today? And not having like, I don't know, to just entertain your kids and plan all these things. Like I miss just like a lazy Sunday where you
Hmm.
can like binge watch your shows. You can, go at your leisurely pace. You could be spontaneous. You can look and see, oh my gosh, this person is playing a concert tonight. Should we get last minute tickets? Like that is out the window. And so I think the element of spontaneity and sometimes laziness is
Yeah.
is missed sometimes, for
You're like going
sure.
through memory lane right now. I can see like the
Hmm.
eyes are like reminiscing,
Yeah,
like what life was
yeah.
Yes.
like. Yeah.
I miss also what I will say this. Katie and I both say all the time, and I feel like it goes without saying, we feel like we're living in an answered prayer. We both had a really hard time bringing children into this earth. So I'm always, it's real. We have to complain because that's real.
We're
But I
humans.
also want to preface that we feel so blessed and like what a
Yeah.
joy, you know?
Mhm.
But let me tell you what I miss. Here's what I miss more than anything is thinking I want to go somewhere, walking out the door and not have to think about
Mhm.
what snacks do I need to bring, what
Mm,
diaper wipes. It's like the amount of shit you have to
Oh yeah.
carry. I miss just my person walking out the door.
Yeah.
That will
right.
come back, but currently we are like carrying so much shit,
Yeah.
and I
Well,
miss
there's
that.
there's always the conversation. I interviewed someone. I think she was this her. I just had dropped her episode recent, just actually yesterday. Um,
Mhm.
and we talked about mothers and women in general have to juggle everything, right? It's
Yeah,
like you're
the mental
constantly
load.
you're constantly juggling all the balls,
Hmm.
parenting, all the things that you can see, and
Yeah.
you're just constantly doing this. And there's that fear, right, of dropping something, missing
Yeah,
something, forgetting something, and then you add one more thing to that. So it's good. Hopefully, it sounds like your husbands are great
they
because they're not
are.
another one of those balls like stop throwing like a bowling ball. Don't be the bowling ball.
Right.
Yeah.
What's their role been? How have they adapted to being a parent themselves?
Oh,
And how has
it's
it
the
brought you to
best.
how has it brought you together more?
It's like one of the
I,
best things in the. Go ahead, Hal.
yeah.
I was just gonna
Well,
say, yeah, we love
yeah.
talking about this.
We love this. I love any opportunity to give my husband his flowers. We have been together for almost 20 years. It'll be 20 years
Nice.
this summer. We've been married for almost 10. And I thought I knew everything I could ever need to know about that man. I was like, we have spent every waking minute together. We have been through traumas together. We have been through celebrations together. We've done so many seasons of life. I know you inside and out. And it was like meeting the newest, shiniest, best version of him when he became a dad. He is so present. He's so sensitive. It's brought out a softer, more tender side to him. It is truly, it could make me cry. It's the most magical thing, and it honestly brought us closer than we've ever been before. And I know that I'm very lucky because I have seen friendships where that is not the case
Yeah, usually
and
goes away.
where
Yeah.
it breaks because it is stressful. Raising children is high stakes and very, very hard, and you have to be on the same page at every turn. And I think it solidified more than ever that I just really, and Katie says this all the time, that picking the person you have children with is the most important decision you'll ever make in your whole life. And I
Hmm.
couldn't agree more with that sentiment. And I feel like we both nailed it because Jason is wonderful as well.
It's so funny you said that because I was gonna say that exact thing.
Hmm.
I do. I think it's the most important decision you will make in your life is who you bring children into this world with, should you choose to
Hmm.
have children. And like Hallie said, we're both so blessed and lucky to do it with someone who feels like a true partner in this and who cares about your child's well-being and also cares about your well-being. I think now, Jason does work long hours and he has quite the commute, but when he comes home and he knows that like I've done dinner with the kids all by
Hmm.
myself and I've been with them, during the day and I could maybe use a little mental break, he's like, why don't you go take some time,
Hmm.
reset before we have the bedtime routine. I'm going to handle the kids. Or even like this coming up weekend, he was like, why don't you go and get your nails done or do something for you? And he's very mindful about giving me time to feel like a human outside of the goo
Hmm.
goo gaga ABCs, one, two, threes, let's play princess dress up, just to kind of recalibrate myself. And I so appreciate that. But I also appreciate being in the family unit. Like we spend every moment together on the weekends, like doing fun stuff. Like this weekend, we have so many things. Like we're doing like a pizza night. Like we love that. And I think it's because we like seeing each other like as parents and in this new version of ourselves. Like we really celebrate that and enjoy it and love bringing our kids into a world where we're doing like activities that spark joy for us, if that makes sense. Like even
Hmm.
going out to dinner.
Yeah.
We do that like on the weekends, and we've done that since they were little babies, and now they're great at restaurants. And I think, I don't know, it's just fun. It's fun to just have a family with someone who also likes having a family, if that makes sense.
Well, I think there's
As
another
as
important.
simple as it is. Yeah.
I think there's another important point there because I think the two of you sounds like you went through the timeline. There's no proper way to say when people get married, have kids, but you did your careers, you did that, and you supported each other through that, and then you took that next step instead of rushing it. But it sounds like there's another great thing too is that having a supportive husband or spouse who steps in and says, "Hey, I recognize this, I see you." But you still need to maintain that identity of just being a woman, right? Not
Right.
just a mom doing the work, your hair is on fire, trying to get all the toys cleaned up, do dishes, do all the things.
Yeah.
So to be able to celebrate yourselves as women too, and maintaining that level for yourselves, for your own self-care, for your own well-being, for your own mental health, so you don't lose that. Because sometimes, like you said, it can go the other way, that there's not support and you start to see everything fall apart. Right. So,
We we had this couple on our podcast and they talked about like love accounts. It was
mhm,
on Between Us Moms, and they said you have to deposit like coins, like love coins into each other's bank accounts all the time. And I feel like we've really worked on that, and that's just something that I think is important in any marriage because it also then translates to like the intimacy part of it, and like you
mhm,
feel appreciated and
mhm,
resentment goes away when you feel like you're taking each other's feelings into
yeah,
account. Sorry, that
yeah,
was a little bit of a tangent, but
But that
that's
is a good
okay.
episode if you want to listen to it. It's the
I will.
Freemans. They're like incredible couples, therapists, psychologists. They're
Mhm.
amazing.
yeah.
And they're a great follow on social media too. But
Well,
yeah.
I'll have to follow them too. And as we wrap
Yeah.
this up too, it's been a pleasure having the both of you on here. Keep doing what you're doing. I think you're doing
Oh,
amazing work. As not only what you do here, but also getting the message out to other mothers, being a support, doing something you guys love doing together, which was a lot of fun. So I've enjoyed this time with the two of you, and I've survived my first ever podcast where I've interviewed two people, and
you
so I
You
did
do.
did
it.
so great.
You
You're
killed it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
You're
Katie,
kind of a pro.
I
You are.
well, I always they always told me I had a face for radio at the time,
Oh,
and broadcasting when I was a
shame on them.
broadcast majors. I didn't know that was an insult at the time because I was, again, men are slowly developing, and now I'm like, son of a bitch. It's like you assholes. That was not nice, but whatever. It works.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed this time with you too, and I hope you enjoy
Oh,
the rest of your day because it's still early out there. I'm just getting
yeah.
out of work. Well, another 45 minutes, but I enjoyed it. Thank you for being on today, and I just have a
Oh,
great weekend.
You
pleasure was
too.
ours.
Yeah, thank you so so much. Thank you, thank you. And we're excited to continue listening to your podcast. You're doing something very cool.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. Bye everybody.